got a chance.
Opportunity, promotion, blah, blah. You know, those are just words.
Words. All I have to offer is words. Just words.
Nobody cares.
Nobody cares.
And
nice
what it do? Thank you very much for tuning in to Just Words, Nobody Cares. Yo, you know what? I haven't even stepped out all day, but it feels like a beautiful Saturday. It feels like that. You know why?
A hot one.
Because I'm blessed by y'all presence.
That one always gets me. Never goes old.
I don't know, but it always feels genuine and authentic.
Because it is.
Yeah. You know what, Lois, man? You know, for quite some time, I've been introducing you to the world and, you know, to the interwebs, I guess. And I think it's time we give you a theme song. I promised you one last week.
Oh, that's right.
And you know what? This week I made sure to load it up. So if you didn't know, you should know. Now you will know. We got my main man, Monsieur Los.
What?
Oh, that's hilarious.
And so I was just like, all right, cool. We're going to give you something nice and light. But you got to hit me with the como se va, bro.
Como se va? Como se va? I like the ooh la la. Ooh la la with that song.
I feel like it should go into some taka 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 taka.
Oh, you want like more?
No, like morph it from the French theme and then it.
And then they just straight switches
to Teodoro Reyes.
Yeah.
From there.
There's got to be a seamless way to do that. Yeah.
But Monsieur Los here. I'm happy to be back this Saturday. I'm hyped. Good energy. Loving it today, man. Today's great. It's gonna be a great episode.
No, it's gonna be fantastic. As always, the wonderful, the spectacular, honorable Lady H. How are you doing today, my lovely lady?
I'm great. I feel like I turned a chapter and moving forward, positive energy. Yeah, everything's beautiful.
You know what? I am happy to hear you vocalize that. And by turning the chapter doesn't mean that she's leaving me. By turning the chapter,
Oh my God.
turning the chapter is like, yo, shit is alright.
Yeah.
Today, I have the honor of having on deck my brother that when I first met you and we crossed paths happened to be completely by accident, because it was an evening where Los and I were supposed to film another friend of ours, another good brother of ours, Phonic, during Valentine's Day. And you guys at Pop and Pour were having a sex educator on deck, and we were supposed to film them. However, the young lady happened to be Dominican, so by being Dominican, she was running on Dominican time, which is okay. It's all good. And which allowed an opportunity for us to do something, which was to film and record you. We, unfortunately, at the moment in time, were completely underprepared. And we walked into your kitchen, and yo, my man, if I didn't feel like I was watching on live TV, e-travel channel type shit, you were like media trained, on deck, ready. We got my main brother, Dario Morillo, right?
Yes, sir.
Oh, I got it fucking right. Let's get it.
Yes, sir.
Chef Dario Morillo, by the way.
Chef Dario.
Chef Dario.
In the house.
And
I appreciate you inviting me over here. I mean, really, three lovely people. Couldn't find any other venue where I would love to share this platform with more than you guys. So thank you for inviting me.
Sorry, Ron. So me being a foodie, which the show was based sort of on our idea we're doing, to me it blew us away when we got there for Valentine's that I didn't even know that you were uptown. I didn't even know you, period.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking we're just gonna go in there and see some guy trained, no kitchen
I ain't gonna
experience.
lie. I thought I was gonna see a Mexican behind it.
I didn't want to say that. But cool. I thought there was a Mexican back there or somebody from South America
There
being
was.
trained.
I remember that.
And when we came in and we saw you, we were like, bro, what?
For me, it wasn't even the seeing you, but it was the listening. The listening.
Just
The mindset.
And because you treated us as what I felt you would treat any other person that is admiring your artwork. And that's what it felt like I was watching when you were putting down, you were plating the food and everything. Like it was done with the amount of care and love.
passion. A lot of passion.
And then when you dropped the bomb on me, because I usually have this motherfucking stigma of when people hit me with the "Y tú eres dominicano,"
my slogan, actually. For real.
Yo pensaba que tú eras mexicano.
No,
I
it's
should get t-shirts and
Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah.
and so when you hit me with the man, I'm from Washington Heights, born and raised.
And
I'm
then the
Dominican.
beautiful thing is they hit him with the compliments and the hit because they go con pelo bueno chiquito y gordo.
Imagínate, bro. You can't win. You can't win. But
So-
and then
So basically, Dominicans cannot have nice hair.
No.
Yeah.
You know, they can't be short or chunky.
No,
That,
they
you know,
cannot.
Fluffy.
Fluffy. Show love.
Yeah.
But then I hit you with, I didn't say it, but in my brain I was like, pero y tú eres dominicano. But it was more because
You threw it back at me, huh?
Yeah, no, I didn't throw it. I thought it, but it's because you had such a cool Miami vibe.
Yeah.
He still look. He looks like Miami Vice.
Yo, my man, I'm looking at this motherfucker. I'm like, yo, por ahí, este tigre vino de South Beach.
Right. Pool parties next.
Shout out to Miami, man. Only the certain people that fit in out there can rock. It's a special city, but needless to say, though, there is some of that vibe and influence, obviously, because when we were exchanging thoughts, it was beautiful how you shared with me. Aside from the training, where you've opened up other restaurants and all that, but what really stuck with me is that you felt compelled and the need to want to come back home to bring and introduce everything you've learned to give back to your hometown.
Yeah.
And to me that's like, yes, I wanted to hear more about that and build on that. And so I thought it was just absolutely beautiful that among our first encounter, that was one of the first, among our first interaction, that was one of the first few things we exchanged. And so I just wanted to thank you for sharing that at that time. So.
No, my pleasure. I mean, it was, I think touching on kind of that first encounter, it just flowed so naturally. I think it all happened, very organically, and it says a lot about the energies that, we all possess here at this table. Because, it just, when something just flows, you just got to stay out of the way. You just got to be, that conductor to kind of let it go through you and let everybody, kind of participate. And whether you're the one exposing or you're the one receiving, I think that whole momentum with whatever we were doing that day, it worked for all of us. And I appreciate you, humbly admiring what I was doing, because I truly have dedicated my life to what I do. Polishing myself and being able to have a spoken word with somebody about what I do and not sound like an arrogant idiot, No. So it's taken a lot of work, but I think when you put the work in, you see the results, and I've done that all my life in every aspect. I think I've kind of tried to, have that same not always, don't get me wrong. We mature, we kind of evolve, and we take it to different places in different situations. I've been that immature asshole that's done shit that I probably 99% of them I shouldn't have done.
So you mentioned before we started recording that you got shipped off by your parents. Los always proudly talks about how he was deported as a kid. He wasn't deported. He was sent on vacation.
I got deported. My mom said we're going on vacation when I was 10, 1990, Washington Heights. She says, when's your last day of Peaceful 15? I said, my last day is June 10th. Back then was June 10th.
Because the parents never know when you started.
They never know. She says, que bueno, because we live in the 13th. I said, cool, vacation. And as soon as I landed, una pela me dieron. Una pela. And never came back until I was 15.
And really?
And so you,
It was like 15 to life for me.
but yeah, man, you have vacation.
Uno sufre de chamaquito, ya, no sabe.
Tú no estaba, did you climb a tree?
Hit me with the emotional damage.
No,
What's that sound effect?
No, I'm gonna just give you this one. But you, on the other hand, you share that they shipped you off elsewhere. Would you mind elaborating on that for a quick second?
Yeah. I was, man. I mean, you know, when you're young and you're a kid, you don't really kind of understand the stuff that your parents go through or what you put them through until you're older. You know, there's a saying, it's like you don't really understand your parents until you have kids. And that's kind of, you know, when things started to click for me when I had kids, because when I was growing up, anything that I could do that would, you know, I was a very curious kid. So I would, you know, light things on fire.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Curious.
I had this obsession with fire. And everything I had access to, I wanted to light it on fire.
Oh my God.
I like one day, and this is a true story. I'm not making this shit up. I'm playing with matches in my room, under the bed, because I had already been caught a few times, and they spanked the shit out of me.
You thought the best approach to this shit
Let's go hide under the bed.
was let me do this a lo escondido. Let me do this shit hidden under the motherfucking bed.
No me van a ver.
Nobody's gonna see me.
The most flammable,
the most flammable shit in the whole.
God.
Yo.
So I decided to crawl my ass under the fucking bed.
Oh my
And I'm there playing with these matches with like one of those, you know, bodega stores, white little pull
So
off.
not even the box.
No,
It's the
no,
one
no.
that. I mean, for me, I still gotta flip the back because I'm still too bitch. And then I use the back cover, squeeze it, and then pull.
Exactly.
Because I don't want to put my finger on it; it burns a little bit.
So I grab one of those things and I hide under the bed, like I said, because I had already been caught a few times, and I got my ass whooped. So I'm like, you know what? I saw some matches. I grabbed them. I snuck under the bed, and I'm playing in there with but my brother was babysitting me. Because I was young. I was like, I don't know, maybe 5 at the most. So my brother, when he realizes that I'm nowhere to be found, he's looking around in the apartment,
panic.
and he's like, "Where is this little motherfucker?" And when I heard him walking through the hallway, coming to the room, I freaked the fuck out and I threw the matches.
What? Lit?
To my knowledge, I didn't know that it was lit. I was just freaked the fuck out. I threw the.
Nigga, let me get rid of the evidence.
Well,
It took oxygen in the meantime.
exactly. So I threw it and I get out from under the bed and I meet him at the door. I'm like, you know, anticipate. I'm like, hey, oh, and I walked out.
Nigga, ¿qué lo que?
What? Like 10, 15 minutes later, yo, we were all out. The whole mattress caught fire. Fucking fire department. The whole 9 yards. Evacuated. Water. I mean, all crazy shit. And that the crazy thing about this story is that I replicated that in a Chevy Nova that my mom had. In front of you see that supermarket that's on what is it, Vermilia? Dan's,
yeah.
That supermarket right there. Mm-hmm. That's been there forever. And like I said, I grew up in this neighborhood. My mom went in because she forgot something, and I'm sitting in the passenger seat. I open the glove box. There's a matchbox in there. There's a rag with like Armor All. She double parked. She goes inside. I do the same thing. Light the shit on fire. Out of the corner of my eye, I see my mom's coming out, and I throw the shit in the glove. The car. Make a long story short, completely destroyed, burnt. Fire department. They gave me an ass whooping that day that I still remember.
Coño, Dario. Diablo, bro.
Yeah.
No.
Nigga, I would have shot you.
Oye, le doy 5 cocotazos.
Give this
5
nigga
cocotazos.
Yo, give this nigga a refill because I'm about to smack the little ass version of it. Yo, my man, how the fuck?
Yeah,
No.
I swear. They're all true stories.
Yo,
All true stories. Twice.
You lit shit up.
Twice.
So did you learn your lesson after the
Nova?
car incident?
Well, my father said one day, I'm gonna show you what this could mean for you. And he grabbed my hand and, the proverbial kind of, let me show you what this is. Playing with fire. Exactly. In this case, it wasn't proverbial. He grabbed my fucking hand, lit the stove, and put that shit on there.
Get the fuck.
And he's like, I want to show you what could happen to you.
Dominican style.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
That's how we do it.
Not that, participation trophy mentality where you get now.
Applause. Give me the applause for that. Participation trophy.
You mean the American way?
Yeah.
Shout out to the Scared Straight fathers.
My son did great. What place? Eighth place.
But it's Scared Straight. Like, y'all remember that MTV series when they threw motherfuckers in jail? Like, you think you a gangster? Go ahead. And then they put you, like, you fucking 14 and you think that you conquering the world, and then they put you next to this dude that says, I'm gonna make you my bitch.
Se queda calladito.
And you're like, no, can I sorry? Yo, when they put that fucking flame over your head, I see, like, I feel like in a different community they're like, well, let's put his curiosity into use and see what it might mean for him.
Chemistry classes, physics classes, experiments.
And then what's the worst that can happen? He's a bomb maker.
Still a pass for that.
He's a fucking nut job.
Pero for us, no, ven, dame la mano, coño, dame enseñarte lo que te puede pasar. Give me your hand, let me show you exactly what can happen.
And my father was the least aggressive person I've known all my life. I never saw
I must have heard him.
Which is kind of full circle what I was talking about earlier. It's like my father was the most non-aggressive person I had ever met in my life. God rest his soul. I never saw he would spank me once in a while. But it wasn't like, it was more because my mom pushed him into it. He didn't want to put his hands on me, and the thing is that I was also a particular kid in the sense that I would rather them punish me and not let me go out. I mean, I'm sorry, the other way. I would rather them spank me or hit me than punish me. And he knew that. So he would punish me where I couldn't leave. I couldn't leave the house for, weeks at a time. Because he knew that I could take the beating. I'm like, if you gotta hit me. I'd rather you hit me than.
So let's get this shit done.
Let's get it done. So, but it wasn't in his personality to be aggressive. So anyway,
at 8 years old, you were thinking about efficiency and time to get over. Get over your punishment issues and move forward with your life.
But this fire, love, did this get you into becoming a chef? I mean, did this...
I don't know if, I haven't really made the connection, to be honest.
I thought there was a connection there personally.
There has to be somewhere. There definitely could be.
I mean, I'm surprised you're not a pit master, bro. I'm like...
I don't know, are you?
Pit master.
Well, I definitely dabble into it. I haven't really been exposed to kind of doing that on a regular basis for long periods of time, I'm sorry. But I do that definitely. I've done it through my work experiences and on my own. I think every cook or every chef, every home cook, doesn't matter whether you're professional or not. And what I mean by professional is, do you do this for a living? Not if you went to school. That has nothing to do with it. But I think you kind of go backwards in this career. You when you start off, you want to be in the fine dining kind of venues, restaurants,
the luxury market.
Because that's what your thought that's where your thought process is when you're growing up in this business, is for you to be somebody. You have to be, at the top level, and the top level has always been represented by the fine dining kind of genre. That's not the case anymore, and it really hasn't been for a long time. But the thing is that everybody sees it that way. When you go to culinary school, and which is my case, I was already cooking when I went to culinary school, but you know, the point that I'm trying to make is that you kind of go full circle with everything in life. And this is no different. So I've kind of stepped back a while, years ago, from the fine dining scenario to go back to more rudimentary ways of cooking. Charcoal, you know, real wood, smoking, stuff like that, where our, you know, forefathers and our more primitive kind of beings used to do.
I think that would be really successful in Washington Heights.
But see, and so my bad. Go ahead, continue.
No, go ahead.
No, because when we were hanging out and on the casual level, you mentioned some shit that was dope, and for me, because I'm not a big foodie at all. However, you mentioned something that I've always been observant of, which is within our community, in our neighborhood, all people do after the hours of 2 a.m. is eat the street food. The street food for us consists of, honestly, what the slave masters used to give our people, and it's the leftover food.
Orejita,
Longaniza, so pig intestines, all that kind of stuff. And people eat this shit at like 3, 4, 5, 6 o'clock in the motherfucking morning.
And it hit the spot. Nicely.
And I guess because I sit there and I just smell that shit, I'm like, oh.
Also, it does not look appealing at all. It's not put on a fine plate or anything.
It's a fucking truck at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Like some foil. Yeah.
Well, not the best time to make your best decisions, especially when you're impaired by a ton of alcohol, right?
that layer of grease.
I think that goes hand in
But when
hand.
you get those crispy pig ears and you're like, what? You're like, what?
But when we spoke,
Ron's like, shut up.
you made it a point to share that, at least with us in our exchange, that one of your primary focuses and efforts to elevate not only your people, the community, but your game was to take the rudimentary foods and make them all the much more of an elevated experience.
Yeah.
And I thought that was, admirable, especially considering that anything above a fucking truck is great.
Yeah.
So, how has that transition proven to be either diligent and rewarding, or has it been a bit more on the frustrating side? Like, how has that worked out so far?
So, I would say it's been more challenging than rewarding, and I'm going to tell you why. I think the food does whatever you want it to do and how creative you can get with it. The problem with that is that the support is not always there. So you want to try to do something and create something, but if your own community doesn't stand behind you, it's really hard, because I guess it's kind of like the 7 degrees, right? Where the people that are around you is going to be your first inner circle, right? Your family, then your close friends, then, another degree, your extended friends, your coworkers, et cetera, and so on and so forth.
Wait, so this whole time has been 7 degrees? I thought it was 6.
I don't know. Yeah, you might be right. I don't know.
I just fucking with you, man.
So, if you don't have that support, it's kind of hard to get it out there, especially if you're trying to do this in a commercial setting. You run the risk of you're trying to do something different. And sometimes we don't get it always right. You don't have all the stars aligned to be able to have that demographic around you that's willing to try these new avenues of exposures to the same cuisine that they know they've been eating for years and centuries. But they're not willing to give it a chance.
Because it's not a pound of rice, it's not a pound of beans.
Unfortunately.
And it's not a pound of chicken.
Exactly.
So, chicken guisao.
Yeah.
Well, okay.
So
you see those specials and they're like feed 4. That shit says,
Well, right next to you
it could
guys.
feed 5 people $20.
Right
I'm
next
like,
to-
how is the
right next
world
to you
hungry?
guys?
Yeah.
So, is it like you think it's a more of an economic hesitation, or is it something else? Psychological.
I don't think it's economic, because the same people that go and support something else that costs 3 times more do it for, very different reasons. One is exposure. People today would rather go somewhere that's a little more what we call bougie, or a little more exposed because it has a better name, or it's in a better neighborhood,
Instagram.
or it's trending.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. You gotta take those Instagram photos.
So people would rather, pay for that. And in some occasions, and I know all of us here know what I'm talking about, they'd rather do that in some cases, not even knowing what they're ordering, not even knowing what they're getting or what they want to get. They just want that exposure to be able to get on social media and create an impact. Everybody wants that, and everybody has an agenda now. Everybody puts everything on social media trying to get a following. And in some cases it's misplaced, because social media can go many ways, and we all know that. But it's crazy how much of your life you've let, and we've let, because we all do it. We've let, social media take over. It's like, at some point you have to check yourself. You have to be, mindful of those things. And I think within the community, that's one of the things that plays into it. Another thing is the socioeconomic impact of the people that, cohabit these spaces and live around our demographic, where we, the restaurants that we run and that we represent. There hasn't really, think about it, guys. We talked about this, I think, the last time we were together. If you go to any other community, you go find, you want to find, let's say, I don't know, Colombian kind of knickknacks and foods and desserts and things that are traditional that Colombians grow up on. Mexicans, for example, things that you grow up on that are reminiscent of your childhood and what your parents gave you growing up. Things that evoke a certain emotion in you. Yep. Because food, that's what food does. Food brings people together, communities together, and they evoke a certain emotion within you when you either try them for, a next time as an adult, when you haven't had it for a long time, or different scenarios, whatever.
And that's one of the things that Washington Heights is missing, is that identity that we could, we don't have that, say for example, the Bronx has that Little Italy. Yeah. And they have this spot or that section. Queens obviously has everything. Queens is the best borough to me in all of New York, because they has everything food-wise.
I agree.
Food-wise.
I agree.
Washington Heights doesn't have it, exactly what we said. We spoke about this last time.
Bitches.
Which is...
Who? They got bitches.
I ain't gonna go there. But
That's the draw.
Right, come on. Y'all niggas.
Queens,
It's a different kind of place.
Queens even has hookah at 10 a.m.
Oh, with tea.
And not just with tea, with honey and
That's nice, actually.
Oh yeah, but you're talking about the non-Latin version of it.
Yeah,
the traditional,
but
the traditional.
During the daytime,
because
it's
we
Mediterranean
want this
restaurant.
shit that burns our throat.
It's a Mediterranean
At
restaurant
10
in the
p.m.
daytime, and they still have hookah during the daytime.
Yeah,
but we don't have the identity where we could say, look, here's this restaurant, here's this. What we have, La Casa Mofongo. All due respect.
No. But no.
That's the rice and beans.
And I'm gonna tell you why. Right now, you can pull up your phone. You can order sushi at Casa del Mofongo.
No.
I swear to God.
You know what? I quit.
That's exactly what I said
You got
when I
matches
saw
here?
that.
Give me a match, somebody.
No, not here, nigga. You take that shit outside in the rain.
So you understand kind of what I'm trying to say. You helped me make my point. We here, we think about everything else but our culture. We use our culture to monetize and to make some money based off of that. But we're not really thinking about representing our culture. We're not really thinking about elevating our culture. We are just using it just as any other thing to be able to get ahead for our own personal gain and personal profit.
Yeah.
And that's
Applause for fucking pointing that out.
and that's why
And
we
verbalizing.
don't have. Can you believe that? Listen, there's so many foods out there, so many ethnicities.
The Russians got the whole 181st on lock on
Cabrini there
on
for-
Fort Wash.
Yeah.
Russian,
Yeah.
like the
Yeah.
store there.
Yeah, they're all Russian, like little food markets and all that kind of stuff.
And they have what is it, Brighton Beach, all that area.
yeah,
And
That's-
we don't have nothing like that. And we should.
We don't, but it's because of what I just said.
Yeah.
We're very, as a culture, and I'm sorry to say this, I'm kind of I consider myself an outcast in the Dominican chef community thing, to be honest. And, in some instances, people have, in one way or another, kind of shunned me because I say what it is. I don't bullshit her. I'm not going to tell you something that's not.
Call it like it is.
Exactly.
These niggas is hating because you calling them out, and these motherfuckers don't want to hear it because they playing some bullshit. I've been to Mama Sushi and all those places, but what they do is not authentic. And so I don't eat the food or whatever, but I can see it. People go there for the gram. People go there for the appeal. And it does draw business. And obviously the business that they generate is from the alcohol side. It's not from the food side. I get all that. Does it add value to the community based on what we're talking about? I don't think so. And I absolutely agree with you. 1,000,000,000,000%.
And another thing, also the restaurant tours. I mean, I was last night having drinks with the manager from Mama Juana's and that whole thing. And all due respect, I don't think they're great for the community because I just think all these restaurant tours, they downplay the Latino, the Dominican intelligence. They don't take us serious. They don't think that we can actually take a cuisine or whatever it is that they have. But what I say to them is, I don't think which I talked about yesterday. We were having a discussion with her. We were talking back and forth. I said, what you don't understand is that the restaurant is a multifaceted business. The same way hotel is, condominiums, which I manage now. It's a multifaceted business where there's layers to it. So every layer has to work in conjunction with one another.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'll give a shout out to Felix and Fito. They do a lot of great things. They don't take themselves very serious. He doesn't have a liquor license, but he does good cocktails with champagne, beer. He has solid food, not over pretentious. He's not being in your face. He's not trying to be something he's not.
Yeah, but
then he's not charging you, $40 for Branzino.
But what Dominican that is not pretentious? I'm stopping. I mean, niggas do want to show off.
No,
though.
Dominicans, and that's one of the things I want to say before. What Chef was saying before, one of the issues we have that if you think it's economic or anything, it's hubris.
I'm using big words on
Yeah, no, he's right. It is hubris.
It's hubris. Hit it with the.
Hey!
Oh, yeah. And I'll give you the bomb.
The bomb. It's the hubris.
You nailed it.
The Dominican community have. It's the hubris that they carry themselves with, where they want to go take a fucking photo with a Buddha. Why?
When
When they're charging you $500 for a magnolia chicken, which is basically spicy chicken with rice or whatever it is, with broccoli, and they give you fried rice.
Sounds like a number 21 to me.
I don't even know this.
Exactly what it is. That's the number 21.
I don't even know this, but my suspicion is that you tack on the $20 price tag because you put some mayo with ketchup on the side there, or whatever the mixture is.
And then they're giving you some shitty cocktails for $22, and you're paying a $500 bill. You could have that same experience in Pop and Pour.
Yeah.
A better experience, I would argue. The food was excellent.
Well, I appreciate
Yeah,
that. Thank you.
It was very good.
But like I said,
Number 21.
this is kind of in. If you take all of what we've discussed in the last 10 minutes, there's something that's very evident. These chefs that work, and I'm talking about chefs because that's something I know this business in and out. I've been doing this for 21 years in September. I've been at the top of the food chain and I've been at the bottom of the food chain. So I worked my way up, grinding every day, working 18 hours a day. I've done it. And what I'm trying to say with that is that there's a chain reaction to why it is the way it is. And what I mean by that is it starts with the vision of the people who are banking all these venues. Exactly. Because and that's why I'm kind of an outcast in that Dominican, community, food, whatever, they do a ton of stuff. I never get invited to any of those. I'm not resentful of it. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying this to sound spiteful, or I could give a shit about any of that. And I'm going to tell you why. Because to me, that's all smoke and mirrors. It's all shit. It's all bullshit. If you come to me with something that I can really recognize and admire and say, fuck, I know H did a great job with whatever it is. It could be anything. It doesn't matter what. But you can see the love and you can see the passion and you can taste it. And that reflects on whatever it is that you do. And it doesn't matter what field we're talking. I'm using the culinary side because that's my kind of field. But the problem starts at the head, brother. That's where it starts. And if the people that are funding all of these venues, restaurants, hotels, cuchifritos, whatever you want to call it, you don't have to have a ton of money to be able to give a good product. But you do have to have a vision to where are we going with this? What do we want to represent? Do we really want to help our community and our traditions to continue on and further elevate our cuisine? That's the question that you have to ask. And when we ask it today, there is very few, if I dare say none, that are really mindful of that really want to put our flag, up high with every other cuisine that's represented in the mass world or universe, or, French cuisine, Italian, Mexican, Chinese. There's a ton of people doing great things with very little. So for you to tell me that, even the
Peruvian with the chicken, that's like,
they have great food.
That's the chicken is their thing.
Peru is considered, if not the best, because everybody thinks about, when they talk about food and cuisine and fine dining, they talk about French, because the French were the first.
Fuck them.
We're gonna shoot him down. Don't come to New York. We're gonna shoot you down.
No, I like I love my French wine.
You know how I feel about this, man.
So the thing is with the
only
French,
love.
They were the ones that instituted the hierarchy of the kitchen, the modern kitchen as we know it.
Checks out.
Escoffier was the guy who put everybody together and said, just like the military, that's how he got the inspiration to create the kitchen, the modern kitchen system today. So he grabbed what they were doing already in the military. There's a general, there's a colonel, there's a mayor, there's a sergeant, he said
sous chef, blah blah blah.
Bingo.
Exactly.
Chef de partie, chef de cuisines, executive sous chef.
And you show The Bear, they have an episode about that, where that's how they take the restaurant and form it into a more precise, operation. Yeah. That's how they use it, and they use that analogy, military style, to go through the order.
Yeah, man, we can't be giving out shout outs to these.
No. We got to put that on because they're going to put us on later.
This is a question that's a bit of a segue, but do you think there's another way to run the kitchen besides that militaristic view?
There is. Just like in corporate, I worked in corporate as well. So I wanted, like I said, I've always been a curious person. I wanted to see, I've always been a restaurant chef. But, life took me in different directions, and I welcomed it. I've never shied away from a challenge, whatever it is. Personally, professionally, spiritually, whatever it is, if I feel that it's going to take me to another level and get me to a higher kind of plane, I'm going to go there, whatever it is. And I can tell you from my experience, to answer your question, is that there's different types of management styles. So you can say that you can kind of apply those management styles within that kitchen environment. Now, this is where it gets tricky. When you have a corporate setting, you have a human resources department. You have, there's a certain kind of level of people and behavior that you already are expected to come in with. There's certain things you can't say, you can't do, you can't talk about, you can't whatever.
Those people weed out the people that you don't want.
In the kitchen, that is not the case. Mm-hmm. In the kitchen,
they give you all the niggas that they don't care for.
The custom is that we are the pirates of the world. We are the drug addicts. We are the alcoholics.
Holy shit! I've never thought of that.
Hit him with the.
But doesn't my perception?
No, I did. My bad. That's.
Is the food tasty?
No, bro, but you dropping knowledge, my man.
Is that food is good though?
No.
Food
Go
for
ahead,
thought.
my bad.
My perception is that the food industry creates the alcoholism, creates the substance abuse because of the pressures of the militaristic environment. From my perception and my impression, like I've never worked in a kitchen, but that's just what I see from the outside.
Wow, you guys are going in circles.
No, you're right.
Never even thought
you hit it right on the head.
So I'm gonna say I'm going to not disagree with you, but I'm going to support kind of what you said. I think it encourages and supports that behavior already. So it doesn't. So this is, if you come in and you're, straight-laced, goody-two-shoes, you're just in this, for the culinary side of it, and you come all happy-go-lucky, the industry turns you into, it pushes you into a direction where you need a release. This environment that we work in is very stressful. Like, it's very nonstop. When that printer is fucking balls to the wall and you're getting 20 tickets 20 tickets down and your line is full and you've got the dining room fucking
I'm getting goosebumps listening to you, bro.
You're in this environment where you don't have a step to sidekick. You're like go 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 go. So what happens? It gets to a point where you first of all, let me kind of backtrack. In order for you to be able to keep up, this business is one of the things that I kind of admire. One of the things that I admire about this business is that this business makes you stay true to who you are. And I'm going to tell you why really quickly. Si tú no da pa esta vaina, this business will kick you the fuck out.
It'll eat you alive.
It'll fucking eat you up and spit you out. And I'm going to tell you why. Because you can't hang. You can't work 18 hours, go home, take a shower, go to sleep, and be back at the restaurant.
And that's where H comes in, where those people who can hang, they'll go in, they'll say, let me just, let me take a hit of something to relax.
Yeah, well, that's the second part of what I was just saying.
A normal person will say, let me just smoke a blunt, but some will go to crack.
Yeah.
Some will
go
drink. Say, God damn. This elevated
crack,
really
crack
quick.
is like extreme, no, but
it's like
I
have a lot of chefs who I know who are heroin addicts.
Yeah.
No, I believe it.
And the heroin, and I say, why heroin? He goes, bro, I just want to forget everything when I leave that kitchen. I don't want to think about food. I don't want my palate not even to activate itself.
Yeah. Yo, all right, let me transition away from that. Give me 1 second. Just give me 1 second. Just give me 1 second. That shit is heavy. Very, very heavy. I know, so my connecting the dots is at the time one of my cousins who was an employee for an elementary school, and he worked the school line, and he was going through alcohol addiction and all that kind of stuff, and he was one of the line chefs, like one of the line cooks or whatever. But he's in work feeding the children.
Yeah.
And he's going through a situation.
Yeah.
And so I'm thinking of, if at that young level, if heads are hiring or are okay with hiring heads that are not okay,
Yeah.
then what you're sharing with me is that sentiment is being perpetuated at a much later stage in life, where we're hiring other people who are not doing mentally or emotionally well, and then they're just trying to cook. But you're saying that they're fucking freaking out by the gazillion, because I've been behind the chef situation where I see the little printer. Okay, when we were trying to film, I saw 2 little tickets and I panicked. Mira,
but listen,
me dio un paniqueo, bro. Wait, give me a second. And so the way you shared it, yo, that you got everybody lined up, and it's not only 2 tickets, it's like 40, 50 fucking tickets.
Yeah.
And it's
it doesn't stop.
And it doesn't stop.
It doesn't stop. Yo, in the middle of my
kick in. I mean, I'm just thinking that I can imagine that sound that
at the beginning.
That was the sound effect I was trying to go for.
At the beginning,
I got you.
At the beginning, when you're starting off, yes, I used to hear that bell, the ding ding, to be able to, for the servers to come in to pick up food. I used to hear that in my sleep. I used to hear that printer.
I believe
I used to hear that in my sleep, and I would wake up panicked, thinking that I had tickets. And I'm like, you dumb asshole, you fucking sleeping. Like, I would wake up panicked.
We started this conversation about dreams.
I'm serious. So, long story short, there's a lot of different perspectives to be taken into account when discussing, drugs and how you use them, how you function with them, etc. There's a very prominent professor out of
I saw him in Colombia, the black dude, right?
Yeah.
That's what I tried to mention earlier.
Yeah. Carl Weathers.
And he's an active heroin user.
Yeah.
And he's a functional, and so he's trying to introduce the fact that although he uses heroin, he still functions.
We spoke about this. How I know someone who.
The only thing I don't like about homie is that his nails are way too long. That's
he needs to hold a coke to get high.
But I'm like, come on, man. But at the same time, are you doing fucking H and doing coke? Like, whatever.
But going back to the restaurant, to the why it's a problem.
Yeah.
So me, man, coming from hotels, I speak to chefs and the restaurateurs and the chef. I'm like, why you guys don't have more young kids who come from CIA and culinary school? They can't hack it.
Yeah.
And they're afraid for them to break. Liability issues for them to break. So what happens? They end up training South American kids from Nicaragua, Salvador, who come in washing dishes, and they train them to start cutting onions and they lettuce, and they go on, and then they become chefs. They literally become full-fledged chefs with ideas, and those are the kind of people who come out of poverty, where they say, just like baseball or any sport, where usually the Dominican Republic, I would say, why is Dominican so good? Well, baseball, these guys come from poverty. They come from a field where they have no gloves, no bats, no sneakers, and they're like super athletes.
Yeah.
And it's the same way almost in a kitchen, where you have these young guys who are from South America, and they have ambition because they have nowhere else to turn.
Well, the key word there is necessity.
It's a necessity, yes.
Necessity gives you a whole different perspective. Because you have to do this, whether it's this, that, or the other, whatever you choose, there's still that necessity there. So, a lo que sea que tú te dedique, whatever it is that you decide to go into, you have to provide for your family, for yourself. So what happens? There's a lot of these kids, like you said, that are middle class, upper high class, which I studied with a lot of them. By the time I went into culinary school, I had already, obviously, I'm a mature adult. I started going to school in 2004, graduated 2006 from Le Cordon Bleu. Then from there, I did another 2 years in hospitality business management. And then I, at the end of whatever my studies, I did about 5.5 years. But what I'm trying to say is that I went to school at night because I used to work in the morning. There was a bunch of kids that were, their parents were the ones paying for their education. So, they would take this as a joke. There were maybe 3 or 4 of us that were in there that this was a second career for us. I had already gone to school. I have a bachelor's in marketing and advertising. And I decided to go into this later on in life after having been cooking for 5 years and bartending for 7. So I was already in the industry while I was going to school, whatever, etc. What I'm trying to say is that these kids don't have that hunger. They don't have they don't have the need to know how they're going to pay rent at the end of the month. And that's not the case for a lot of the people that are in this industry. That this is all they've known. This is all they have. Somebody gave them a chance to go into a kitchen and to get a paycheck at the end of the week, or get cash or whatever. However,
it's okay.
But they kind of develop within the kitchen system because of that necessity. If you don't have that, you're gonna call it quits if this is not, if you don't have it in you, man.
And to me, that hits close to home because Anthony Bourdain,
yes,
God bless his soul. Like
yes.
Le Hollis was a French restaurant, and all his employees were South American,
all of them,
Mexican, Salvadorian, Nicaraguan, Colombian, and he goes, these guys could cook better than I can.
Yeah,
any day of the week.
Yeah.
So when he started doing the show for Travel Channel, and the owner was like, "Coño, like you leaving? Like what's going on?" And he goes, "Nah, man." He goes, "These guys could kill it just as much as I can. They could cook a steak frites like I could cook it."
Yeah.
And it hits close to home to me because my dad was a chef.
Oh, really?
My dad was a chef for a country club for 22 years.
Oh,
Alpine, New Jersey.
I didn't know that.
So he was a dishwasher. He came here in 1972 as a dishwasher. Started working there as my mom. My mom was as one of the hostess in the country club, welcoming people in the banquet and putting tables down. My dad started off as dishwasher, went into the kitchen slowly, and then he easily became an executive chef for the last 15 years.
That's beautiful.
So
that's beautiful.
8 years he was working the kitchen, just doing anything just to get to, what do you call it, the line?
The line cook.
The line cook.
Yeah.
You're overthinking that.
No, there's another word. There's a French word, a military word.
You want the French word?
The military word.
Chef de cuisine.
What is it?
Well, the garde-manger.
The garde-manger.
Garde-manger is usually the cold. So anything that has to do with desserts, salads,
that's where he went
tartare,
in. Yeah,
stuff
exactly.
like that.
And that's my dad went in, and that's
El
how he
tigre que
started.
está poniendo la vaina junta.
No, loco. No mi papá así, loco. No seas freco, compadre. Te quemo el apartamento.
No, el colchón.
Te prendo el colchón. But real quick, it hit close to home because my dad, that's how he got it. And that's how I got into cooking and see him in the kitchen and we working. And like, I was always at the golf club and, I was like a kid caddy there. And I could see where H came in and she asked you that question. I was like, fuck, this is going to hit deep because I knew off the bat it would turn around to something to this where even in the real world, not restaurant, but nobody wants to do regular jobs anymore. Like regular youth, they don't want to work the hard work. Now they give it to an immigrant who wants to do the gritty nitty job.
Yeah.
And they'll give it to that guy because a kid from CIA, you put him in the kitchen, like H said, like he might turn to the wrong side, the dark side.
Well, the thing is that, like, go kind of rehashing what we were already discussing. If you don't come into this business,
How you just tried to move the mic out the fucking way? Nigga said this shit isn't my way. Give me a second.
He's been wrestling with it all session.
Yes, give me a second. This is interrupting my whole conversation.
so in this, if you don't already come into, because kind of let's set the premise. The premise is that this is the underground. When you're working in the kitchen, this is the underground. This is what it is. There's no questions about it. And why do I say that? Because a lot of the characters that come into the kitchen looking for work are people that don't have papers, are people that are in a, they have legal problems. They have a record. They have this. They can't go and apply for Amazon delivery because they won't fucking hire them. So, on that premise, you get a lot of these beautiful characters, because to me, it doesn't matter what you've done. It doesn't matter, whatever you are about. To me, I want and again, I'm putting myself into that chef kind of mentality. When I'm hiring somebody off, the alley, it's like you're coming in, you're looking for a job. You might be sleeping on the fucking street, but you might be a fucking beast on the grill. You might be a beast on the fucking saute pans. So when I get one of these people and I try them out, and you see they something kind of switches in their brain, because they know that this is their survival.
That's
this
art.
Is it. Yeah,
it's art.
Yeah, and when you take that and you look at it from a different kind of spectrum, kind of on the psychological part of it, this business, if you don't come in already having some type of vice, you will definitely pick it up. Because like I said, motherfucker, this is the pirate ship. This is the pirate ship. This is what it is. Yeah. This motherfucker's going home and he's doing who knows how much coke. But they show up to work the next day.
And niggas still show up.
And they show up
and
the next day. And you know why they show up the next day?
No, bro,
because this is the fucking lifeline. This is all they know.
You know what it is? I think in my unawareness, right? In my ignorance in regards to food and just trickle down the fact of all of us being interlinked. It's just that I would have always thought that we would have given more priority to the people that teach us, to the people that feed us, to the people that take care of us. So, the nurses, the cooks, the teachers.
That's the perfect example right there.
And you're like...
The teachers.
And
some of the most underpaid, underappreciated profession in this universe.
And I'm hearing more and more, and I'm like, wow, the veil is being lifted.
Yeah.
And what's behind this veil, está medio fucking...
Priorities are whack.
Está feo. They're like, is this why we wear the veils? Like, we gotta wait till the last second to say I do, because that nigga's ugly as fuck.
And they don't even give good massages. They don't even give good massages.
Nobody's so in love, man. Oh my God. And so, honestly, I will share this from my perspective. I will say I've not given whoever's behind the grill much thought of what their interpersonal skills and who they are. Now, because I am one of transcendence feeling and transcendence love, I feel like, damn, if the motherfucker that it's making my food isn't love, then my food isn't made with love. And that kind of bothers me in this second, because I always feel that when the food is made with love, when the food is made with purpose, although I eat simple shit, it tastes better.
Even a simple fries.
So because they talk about the chickens, right? The chickens. Everybody got to know about the chickens, right? The chickens are fucked.
Bless the chickens. And they used to be dinosaurs. Look at where they are now.
But if the chickens that are cage free give you better eggs than the chickens that are fucked up in the cage, right?
Yeah.
And so
I love it. You went from chicken to kitchen.
Yeah.
You said the kitchen will give you better eggs.
But is the thing is like, so then what about the brother that's breaking the egg?
Yeah.
What about the brother that's making the food?
Yeah.
Or the person, whoever it may be.
Yeah, man.
It comes to that, at least in my point of view. And I'm not gonna lie, inviting you today and the expectations of the conversations, I anticipated us talking more about, this is what's wrong, blah, 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 blah. And that's it. Yo, my man, we went into a fucking spider web effect.
Yeah.
Like it always does. I mean, restaurants, like I said to you, restaurants, it's a multi-layer business. And one of the reasons you always ask me, he goes to me, yo, bro, why are you fucking always eating at these restaurants?
You know my reason.
I know.
Okay.
But I try to explain to him, but he's not a foodie guy. And I say to him, it's an experience, especially when it's a well-run business. Because it's multi-layered, where not only are the guys front of the house working, it's also the middle of the house, and then the back of the house, and the one who came before those in the morning to cut the fish, cut the meats.
I share with him my disappointment, and within our community, why we don't give ourselves that certain level of importance. And if we don't give ourselves that certain level of importance and love, outside of the whoever's buying the biggest bottle and who's smoking the most hookah, outside of that, I'm talking about food, dining, and drinks, right? Like, who are we showing love to? When you go to those fine establishments and you pay the premium, it's nice. Why can't we have that here?
Well, that was a conversation we had in the beginning.
And
it goes back to the ones who put in the money in.
It's again, this is like an onion. We got to peel this thing. This is not going to take one podcast.
No, you're right.
It's going to take multiple. But in the long story short, it is about just starting with one concept. It doesn't have to be Dominican culture. It doesn't have to be Dominican food. It doesn't have to be Dominican people. It's the restaurants where you get the best service, the best food, the best ambiance. It's because somebody like you, when I walked into this apartment, there is love on these walls.
Exactly.
There is detail in this experience. I walked in here. This is your home. Good job, bro. So, for real, I applaud you. I applaud you because this is.
Give yourself
for sure. So I applaud you because this speaks so close to my heart, because this is attention to detail. This is somebody taking love and care into what they did into this space. And that's the same thing that you want when you walk into a restaurant. You want somebody where, from the hostess all the way to the dishwasher, is mindful, have been trained, have been indoctrinated into what we're trying to portray, what we are selling, why people are here, why we need to take care of our patrons. And that's what makes a difference from a 3 Michelin star restaurant or venue or hotel or whatever it is to a cuchifrito food truck on fucking 181st. That's the difference. And it's like, you don't have to be rich to be able to offer these things. You just have to be mindful, and you have to have intention behind whatever it is that you're putting forth. That's it.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be this glamorous environment and really expensive decor.
I mean, just an example. I've been to Cuchifrito recently, like 3 a.m, and somebody tried to cut me off because I'm in my phone, looking at my phone down, and she tried to cut me off. Yeah. And the woman goes,
paying attention,
and I wasn't paying attention. And she goes, la mujer dice, no, tú no era el que está primero que tú. That alone,
that makes a difference.
When, bro, from here to here.
Stop looking at those twerking bitches on Instagram.
I saw her shaking her ass, and I was like, yo, I was out of focus.
At 3 a.m. Like,
3 a.m.
Ron had to yell at him last week about being on his phone.
Go to sleep.
I was praying for my DM to go on fire, but it didn't at that time. And I'm there waiting online, and somebody cut me off, and the woman in the truck said, no eres tú que va, él.
Alright, so with that said, we're gonna transition it off to what we call. I know that your presence merits another visit, so we gotta have another visit.
I would love to, brother.
But we should just keep it going 2 parts.
No. The thing is that it has to be. I mean, I would like for it to be organic, where it's more visits. We're just chilling. We're gonna do last call for words. So I'm gonna start with you, Los, because I feel like you've been itching to say something. So hit him.
Really?
I'm just fucking with you.
You set me up to fail.
You
Look
seem
at
like
me.
you wanted to say a bunch of shit.
No,
You've been like itching on your seat.
No, I've been good.
Nah,
I talked.
You've been
I talked a lot today.
You alright?
Yeah, I'm good.
You sure?
I'm perfect. I'm
Yo,
here
my
with
man,
Chef D today.
you dropped a lot of details today that I wasn't even privy to about your.
Are you
pod.
impressed?
Nah, I would say not no impressed. Impressed is like, oh my god. I was just like, oh mira. It's one of those things. But I am at oh mira.
Coño, mi amigo. I just learned something new from my brother.
No, you fucking 30 years, bro. Whatever it may be.
You learned something today. Now you know. I love you more. Bro.
I love you more.
Let's get a
But-
woman's perspective from
You want to start with
last
H? Let's start with
word.
H.
Let's start with H.
So I had to leave quickly to go to my cousin's baby gender reveal, which they started right on the dot, and I couldn't figure out the Zoom link information.
They're not Dominican.
Yeah.
Fucking Americans.
They're
No.
not Dominican.
I mean, okay.
They're
no,
Americans.
it wasn't.
They're not Mexicans.
So
They're
my
Americans.
cousin, who's she married a white man.
Yeah,
So her
Americans.
baby she's 100% American now, and I'm very happy for them. And the baby shower took place 6 hours away, and I was sad I couldn't make it.
Where are
However, they started right on the fucking dot. So
Where are they?
What was it?
They're somewhere upstate New York, but it's 6 hours away, so we couldn't make it because the turnaround time was too quick. So they started right on the dot. I logged in at 3:17, and they already did the gender reveal, and I was like, "Pero qué fue?"
Because it was at 3:15.
Everyone was saying felicidades, felicidades, and I was like, "But what, boy or girl? ¿Qué fue?" It's a boy, so they're gonna have a healthy baby boy.
Congratulations to them.
And this is after a line of lots of women, because there's a lot of women cousins on that side of the family. So we're very happy to welcome the baby boy. She's the first of the cousins to have a baby. I'm the oldest cousin, by the way. Yeah.
La
So
doña.
I'm La Doña, and she's the one to do the first. So I'm very happy for them. It's
Super
thrilling,
cool.
and it's like kind of jarring also to come back to leave this conversation and then come back to like such happy news, and then come back to this where I'm like, so the next thing was a big question on my mind in terms of kitchens and how they work and the environment and the function of the militaristic training. There's a huge question in my mind, not just with kitchens, but also just in every industry. Is there a better way to work where it doesn't put so much pressure on the people? And this is something I'm asking myself in my industry, because there's a reputation for people in my position to be, frankly, a bitch. And that's a bitch because most of the people are women that are in this position, and they've been driven to be that, or that perception of that. And I'm challenging that, and I'm questioning it, and I'm asking if there's more space to be made in the process. So I'm just wondering the same thing of the kitchen too, if there's more space to be made that is not what we are used to seeing, which is the militaristic, which is the white way of being and of functioning. So I'm very interested to continue this conversation.
Yeah.
Because like you said earlier, like the kitchen, that industry it's the same across industries too.
Yeah.
So it's a question that I live with, and how I am and how I function and how I just live my day to day. And that's what I love about our space, is that it's our space and we welcome any way of being, and we always question if there's a better way to do it, and that we can be priority and we can be taken care of. And I want that for us, and I want that in us being our people. So those are my last words.
Fuck.
That was nice.
That was very,
nice.
very well vocalized.
Yeah.
And very
That's
well,
very insightful.
not vocalized, verbalized.
Yeah.
Very well. Like wow.
That's
I
my
was gonna say-
philosophy,
I was
and
I was
that's
gonna
how
say,
I
chef,
want to
continue.
work.
Let's keep going though. It's organic. Let's just go.
Dale pa allá.
Yeah.
Dale pa allá. So what she was saying, is there a better way for the kitchen to work?
No, I mean no. It doesn't have to be a question. It's just last words.
So
No.
yeah, in inspired by Age's last words, I would, quick response, to be continued. I would say, remember that, we're dealing with a group of people that are not the most stable, that are not the most healthy, that they're not the most grounded emotionally and psychologically. So you have to be strong, unfortunately. And I'm going to leave it at that so we can continue at a later date.
Got you. I will share this.
What happens at last words?
You haven't said last words? Go ahead.
When?
Dale.
I'm gonna smack you right now. So I'm about to deck you. Hit it with the-
Oh, now you're dropping sound effects too.
Pow! You remember those Batman and Robin cartoons where they put the pop-ups with the pow?
Damn, I thought I had one of those sound effects.
You
But
did
no,
it?
go ahead.
I thought we had a punch.
It's okay. I was just gonna do that.
Even with the French.
Just so you can call that.
I mean, I'm gonna have a 2-part one real quick. Can the music stop? That's funny music. That is hilarious.
Everywhere you go, we're gonna have a guy with an accordion behind you.
I really need some Beaujolais with all of that. I mean, you guys, I can't be drinking.
I ain't gonna lie. I
Sounds
thought you were gonna
nice.
come with wine, so I was just like, oh,
All right, cool. Next time,
no,
my Beaujolais will
fuck
come
that.
through.
I'm cool with the scotch. Anyways, continue.
Beaujolais
Anyways,
sounds nice,
my two part last words is for the restaurateurs out there who are putting money into restaurants, stop downplaying our Dominican intelligence. Challenge us. Give us something to think about. If it doesn't work, do it. Try something else. The same way you do it. When you do a restaurant, you put a restaurant out there. It doesn't work. What do you do next? You pivot to a salon, a bodega, something else. Let's continue this culinary experience that we're having in our community, in our people, and try to help us understand more. Educate us. If you have the money to put into a restaurant, you have the money to put into a chef, a som, a general manager who could teach us.
When he says som, he meant
Sommelier.
Just so you put it out.
Sommelier.
Yeah. For
Not
those.
Psalm 419.
Yeah.
It's
The motherfucker
wine,
that drinks
it's a
wine and he knows
it's a
what
dude.
you
It's a
should-
dude who fucking knows about wine.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
And if you could do that, I mean, we could be so much better. And I don't
te
want
hablo
us.
pelito, bro.
And that's one part of the last words. My second part is something you said in the beginning about energy and staying out of the way. If you feel that you're receiving good energy, good love from someone, let that person be. Stick to my mantra, my tattoo, open to everything, attached to nothing. Let a person be who it is. Love them who they are. That's it. And just love and positive energy all around.
My biggest takeaway from this entire exchange has been the fact of how close we are all interlinked. It may be because I just watched the movie Blade Runner 2049 or whatever it is.
We haven't finished it though.
Yes.
You haven't finished it?
No,
No, we're halfway
we
through.
What's
had
wrong
a
with
break.
you two?
Yo, my man, I had an edible and I went and I lost my shit.
Which
I
was like, I'm a
lost
robot.
my shit.
D, were you captized by Ryan Gosling?
No,
You
nigga.
call me D?
No, H, sorry, H. D, I did call you. I miss you, Dina. I miss you, baby.
Yeah.
Happy birthday!
Happy birthday! That's right. That's a good one.
Yo, there's a scene where all they talk about is interlinking from the cells and this and that. And I'm not gonna lie, the way that they broke it down while I was under the influence fucked with me big time. Because it made me realize that there is no separation from whatever is the furthest thing that you think you are, which is a person in prison, which is in a cell, and the cells interlinked to other cells. And who do you want to be interlinked to? Is to the mother that held you in your arms, and who do you want to hold, and just interlinked. Now, I am thinking about food. And food is how we're interlinked, because how they fucking sell organic food, that's how it's sold. It's how they treat the cow, how they treat the chicken, how they treat everything else, right? Because however they treat those animals,
that's for next episode.
is however good the food
We got
will
so much shit
be.
to unpack,
Bro.
I know.
We got a lot of shit to unpack,
And-
yo. I am serious.
And I was just, and so for me to hear that the cooks, that the line cooks, that the people are not doing well,
That's just the
It's,
surface.
that's what we
I
call.
am
That's what we call
not-
NDR. La cebolla, loco.
yo, I ain't gonna lie, nigga, that shit like,
And that's to put it lightly.
with me, like,
Because
big
the
time.
real expression would be like, yeah, man.
No. Yo, so I guess with that said, my name is Ron Kane. Thank you for listening to Just Words. Nobody cares. And I'm out. Yeah.
That was good, guys.
Holy shit, man. So much to fucking unpack.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. The whole time tú estás así muriendo.
Bro, that's all that me está aprendiendo.
No, está bien. My bad, guys. I'm sorry. We had to sacrifice it for the song. All right, so we got. Let me let the intro finish. And, yo, my brother, thank you, man.
What do you mean?
Thank you, bro.
Thank all.
Like, thank you,
No, this
man.
is great. Thank you.
It was.
I appreciate all of you. Thank you.